Hi everyone, my name is MadMatt Lugos and welcome back to Death Stranding. So, last time we kind of,
Over and over again.
yes, took on our main mission to reconnect all of the United States, or the United Cities of America as it's called now. We need to not deliver, but we just need to reconnect everything with this necklace that we've got that has some kind of chiralium in it, or chiral energy or something along those lines. Just after the last episode, I went and did a bunch of delivering, about maybe back and forth, maybe 4 times. So my rating or whatever it is has gone up quite a bit. I've used some of the ropes and the hooks that you use to climb down, and the ladders. That's why my boots are looking a bit worse for wear.
Sam, he's our man.
So we need to take a mission from here. I have to say, I was really enjoying just the traversal, just existing in the world, and just based on that little crossing. I know I went up the ladder, but I came back down, didn't I? I did go across properly, and I think that's how you avoid BTs. I think the higher dangerous routes, they're more dangerous in terms of the terrain, but there'll be less BTs, whereas the safer routes will be easier to traverse, but we might run into BTs. And I also realised that the timefall destroys the container but not the goods. It just means that if we fall over and the container is broken and has 0% on it, it's probably going to break the actual contents. But you can still, as long as the contents are alright, the state of the container doesn't matter for the delivery. And I did pick up a bunch of interviews and some text logs, so we're just going to pick up our mission, then I'm going to have a read of them, so we can flesh out some of the lore a little bit. Okay, let's take out an order. So is that a main mission? Let's listen to the briefing.
We'll be delivering supplies for a Cairo printer. The distro center you're going to has one. First expedition set it up. On its own, it's no different from your run-of-the-mill 3D printer. Connected, though, it can utilize Cairo network data to reproduce all kinds of things. And you can imagine how handy that might be. Now, I know I don't need to tell you, but steer clear of any BTs you find out there. Avoid out's the last thing we need.
Sam, it's Hartman. Void outs occur when the living of our world come into contact with beached things. The reaction is similar to what a physicist would call an annihilation, when a subatomic particle collides with its antiparticle. Alas, there ends our understanding. Why do the dead transform into BTs? Why are void outs only triggered by human contact? And why are people like you able to return seemingly unscathed? No one knows. Yet it cannot be a coincidence that these phenomena were observed only after we discovered the beach and bridged this world and the next. Anyway, to reiterate, the only reliable means by which you can prevent a void out is to stay far, far away from BTs.
Okay, so I mean, that line from Bridget has really stuck with me. That I'll be waiting for you on the beach. Just the way she delivered that line. It had such a weight to it. It was like quite iconic, and yeah, it really stuck with me. It's just like a real quotable, just iconic line. I don't know why, but yeah, I'll be waiting for you on the beach. All right. So 6 items to deliver. We need to deliver it to the distribution center west of Capital City. So deliver all 6 containers of rare metals. In this order.
Sam, if you're in the middle of a run and decide you need to secure your cargo temporarily or entrust it to another porter, you'll want to make use of a post box. In addition to cargo, post boxes can also be used to share gear and weapons, if you're so inclined. Now, I'm sure you've used them before, but humor me and build one. Maybe between Capital Knot and that way station. If you're lacking a PCC, I'm afraid you'll just have to scrounge it up yourself.
Okay, so I can build them as a result of one of the deliveries I did. I can now build post boxes. Okay.
To build a post box, you'll need to use a PCC. It goes without saying, but if you're not already carrying a PCC, you'll want to fabricate one.
I already have one, sir.
Order assigned. Ah, Sam. You'll need a PCC to build a post box. Fortunately, you can fabricate one at any terminal.
I already have one, friend. Right, I'll plan my route and then I'll show you guys how I intend to get there. Okay, I don't think there's necessarily an obviously good or bad route. I've gone the steeper side in case there are BTs, but if not, I'll come down on... I might cross the river a bit earlier. So we're connected. We've been connected to other players as a result of that, at least back there, at least.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Okay, so I can see. Oh, this is a BT area. Okay, let's just have a look around the other side.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear.
Maybe they're on both sides of the river. Maybe not.
All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Let's just get up here quickly and have a look.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
I have no weapons. Yeah, it looks like the BTs are spread right across the route we want to go. Don't think we're going to be able to avoid them whichever side of the river we go on.
Yep, that was definitely my back.
Careful. Yeah, the strands coming down from the sky are right in front of where we want to go. I'll only pick up deliveries that we find around if they're in the direction we're going. The post box thing I'll probably do off camera. Getting pretty close to the BTs now, I think. Right, before we do that, I think I need to have a drink. There we go. I did quite a few trips back and forth.
Heads up, Sam. Your cargo's been pinged. Move. Now, before someone has eyes on you.
Oh god, oh god.
Get to your destination ASAP if you don't want to get caught.
There's another one. Pinged by what? Those are people. Those are people. Those are people. I'm panicking. are you serious, dude? I think they've seen me. Can we break line of sight? I am hiding. Something else set one off. These are people. What the hell's going on? So there's 3 of these guys. So we're going to need to cross the river, aren't we? There's another ping there. I'm going to try and head for that ladder. Okay. I don't know how big their line of sight is, but we need to watch out for those little yellow sticks. It's a little weird that it'd be so close to— oh my god, there's another one. They're everywhere, dude. Oh, there must be a way to deactivate them that we haven't unlocked yet. God, they're really difficult to spot. So one of them's kind of isolated there. Oh no!
Sam, don't get too close to mule territory unless you have to.
Mule territory?
Focus on your deliveries for now.
Oh god! This is bad! This is so bad. They're so much faster than me as well. Is that tall grass that I could have hidden? Oh no. Go, go, go. Cutscene. Oh, there's BTs knocking around, scared them off. Thought the game glitched out then. Mules, okay.
Mules gave you trouble, huh? Good thing it was raining. Even they know better than to mess with BTs.
Ooh, got out of that one. Okay, I don't want anything to do with combat. I mean, we don't have any weapons, right? So I guess that was kind of a scripted. There's long grass. Let's just have a look at the long grass. And see. I mean, our stuff's going to be sticking out of the long grass. Okay, so the screen fades a little bit to indicate we're hidden. Yeah. Okay, there's no BTs here just yet. We're gonna have to go past them, I imagine. So I guess these are just like bandits then. I mean, I knew there was combat coming in, but I wasn't sure whether it was just going to be against like BTs or something along those lines. Okay, just let me double check my map, because I'm not going on the route I was going on before. Yeah, we'll just stick to this side of the river. No. We're gonna run into BTs at some point here. There's more of these. Ping. I don't know what pingers. You absolute pinger. But yeah, there's more of them here, so I don't know if they're going to brave the rain or... I can't, there's no way of me getting past without getting pinged, so... It like leaves a trace of the cargo we're carrying, so they obviously just want to rob us. No, they're not active. Maybe they're not active during the rain. Or they have to be activated by the mules. Oh, what's that? That looks like an entrance of some sort, right? Luden's fan. What is that? Is that where those mules were from? Looks like a cave, doesn't it? Should we maybe go have a look? What is this line signifying? Oh, it's the line of the network. I don't know what this is. I hope it's not like a bandit camp. It might be on the other side of the cliff, so I won't be able to get up there without using a ladder. Man, I panicked hard when those guys appeared. Want my stamina. I don't think we can get up there.
Let's get this shown up.
Man, look at this place. Drink it in, right. So I wonder if this is like someone, like science gone wrong connecting to the other side, or like when Amelie, I don't know if it was just for artistic effect, but when Amelie was on the beach, there was like a huge, almost like moon-shaped thing in the background, so was there like some sort of meteor that struck or something, or was that just kind of part of the dream perhaps, and it's not what any of it actually looks like on the beach? Yeah, so Amelie doesn't age, she's like, doesn't die, so do we, and a few of the others as well. So I wonder what that means, whether we're a bit like, I suppose it'd be a bit like Final Fantasy X, wouldn't it? Spoilers for Final Fantasy X. But like that kind of existing in the realm of the living when you're someone who's dead kind of thing. What's up? Yeah, this area is going to be heavy. Yeah, the container being damaged doesn't matter unless we fall over. Right, let's get our stamina up. Just in case we have to run. Okay, so we got one to the left. Okay, so I can't walk in a stable fashion while holding my breath. Uh-oh. So on edge. There's one right in front of us. Shush, 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 baby, shush. It's alright. Baby. Okay. It's behind us still. This is bad.
Something wrong, Sam?
I don't know. Kid doesn't look so hot.
Nothing to worry about. Its functions are temporarily suspended, but they can be restored. I can perform the necessary maintenance at a distribution center. Hurry, though.
Hurry? We're smack in the middle of BT country. Okay, the rain stopped. Let's hope that that doesn't mean the mules are going to be back after us. Hello.
When the strain on your BB exceeds sustainable levels, it triggers the production of harmful compounds, and the body, in essence, begins to attack itself. It's called autotoxemia. If your BB's not performing to spec, drop by your private room and see if the incubator helps.
Got ya. So I mean, these bridges, like centers or whatever, must have some sort of automated protection. Otherwise, those mule guys would just come and steal stuff, right? Oh, a bike.
Witness ID. Verifying ID. Clear. All weapons will remain locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
I've got you, BB.
Rest is advised.
So did those mules all have BBs as well? Let's make our delivery.
Wait station folks told me all about you. Sam Bridges, with the second expedition, right? The guy expanding the chiral network on his lonesome, when he's not out making deliveries. So what'd you bring us? Let's see it. Talk about above and beyond. Thanks. Must have had to pass through BT territory to get here too, didn't you?
Yes.
Hey, weren't joking when they said you were a legend.
Thank you very much. Oh, a new title. You've been awarded the title of Skilled Handler. Continue to strive for greater recognition. You've achieved the delivery volume grade 10. You can now carry more cargo. Nice.
Okay, it's time. Do you mind connecting us to the network?
New strong established.
Sam, as always, thanks for bringing more folks into the UCA.
New interview data required. Mules and drone syndrome. Bridge babies. Time for. New features have been added to your cufflinks. Mail and data. New option has been added to delivery terminals. Recycle. This area is now connected to the chiral network, enabling you to see and access other players' structures.
Looks like we're on the chiral network. And with those materials you brought for our chiral printer, we can produce supplies for you here as needed. Think of it as our way of returning the favor. Now head west and keep on doing what you do.
Good. The distro center's on the network.
Sam, do me a favor. Take your BB to a private room and connect it to the incubator.
Good work.
Private rooms can be accessed via the delivery terminal in any facility connected to the chiral network. Simply select rest in private room to enter. I forgot to read those all those bits. I will remember to do that.
MadMatt, you there? Little help?
Okay, Sam. Remove the pod and connect it to that incubator.
It's in.
Good. I
Temporary excessive stress, easily addressed if we return it to its mother's womb.
Mother?
Located in the capital Knot City ICU. Brain dead, of course.
You mean still mother?
Correct. A still mother's womb facilitates a connection between the world of the dead and the BB. And you, in turn, connect yourself to a BB, granting you the ability to sense BTs. These pods were designed to simulate the conditions inside a still mother's womb. BBs need to believe they're in one at all times to function properly. However, we can only maintain this deception for so long, which is why we must periodically update the environmental data by synchronizing it with a still mother via the chiral network. There. The update is in progress. Right now, the pod is synchronizing with the still mother in capital Knot City and reconfiguring its settings based on the latest data. Returning your BB to the womb in this manner will temporarily reduce its stress levels. That being where it technically belongs, of course.
Kid looks happy.
I'll try adjusting the oxytocin dosage. Autotoxemia should set in much slower from now on. You should remember that BBs are just equipment. Try not to get attached. Each one has been physically removed from its still mother's womb. A process that renders them unpredictable and prone to failure. No BB on record has remained in service for over a year. It may need to be retired before this expedition is over.
And then? You saying there's no way to keep my BB alive?
You must understand, there is still a great deal we don't know about BBs. As we expand the chiral network and recover more past data, perhaps we'll find our answers. Oh, right. You asked me to look into why the BTs might be reacting to your blood. I spoke with Hartman. We should have your results soon. Anyway, get some rest. You and your BB are both exhausted. Good night, Sam.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Sam? Can you see me?
How are things over there?
Still not under guard, still not chained up, still can't leave. But if you can keep making connections, if you can get to me, we can go back east, back home. Thank you. I mean that. It's bad. There are fewer and fewer people in the cities these days. No one's having children anymore. But humans aren't made for living alone. They're supposed to come together, to help one another. And if we as a people can't do that, if we can't reconnect, then, well, it's like Bridget said, extinction.
Come on. Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs. As long as they're still around, there's no escaping it.
But at least we'll have hope. I'll be waiting, Sam. Waiting for you. Come and find me.
Hello, Sam. This is Hartman. Since you're awake, it might behoove you to freshen up. To that end, why not take a shower? It's good for the body and soul, and also my research as it happens.
Okay, Hartman.
Sam, this is Hartman. Deadman relayed your request to me, as I oversee BT research. I'll be taking a sample of your shower water in order to study the effects your bodily fluids might have on a BT.
Study other people with dooms?
Everyone in Bridges, myself and Mama. Results thus far are inconclusive. But you possess other singular qualities, being a repatriate as well. I must confess to a measure of optimism.
Processing fluids. Waste products. Chirelli. Dispensing.
There. Take the sample with you. Should the opportunity arise, try using it on a BT. I'm curious to see how they react. Who knows? It may even prove beneficial to you. There was an old research paper detailing the effects of bodily fluids from individuals like us on BTs. It is only by recovering these materials that we can unearth the knowledge of the past. Not just the Death Stranding, but also the mystery of your body's unique properties and even our doom's affliction. There may well be hope for humanity. Sam, I have no interest in rebuilding America. I want to recover the past. 5, 4, it's almost time.
2, 1. After you make your connections and nothing happens, then what? I said, then what?
Strange. Why would he be on a countdown?
Sam, sorry to bother you while you're taking a break, but I figured you'd want to hear this. Hell, maybe it'll help you rest easier. We received a number of messages addressed to you. I've not taken a look myself, but I gather they're mostly from your clients. You should see if they contain any useful information. Mail can be accessed via your cufflinks, as well as the terminal in your private room. There's something else I'd like to share with you. With the Cairo network, we now have the power to reclaim our past. Data once thought lost forever from every corner of America can be pieced back together from fragmented records. Our archives are still a work in progress, of course. But as we expand the network and integrate more way stations and cities, we'll be able to recover more and more information, such as the previous expedition's logs and reports. Everything they sent back was lost when Central Knot City was destroyed. Now, we've managed to restore some already, in fact. You can access them from a private room terminal or your cufflinks by selecting Archives. Might make for interesting reading.
Okay, buckle up. We're going to do some reading. Let's check the mail out first. Benjamin Hancock. Sorry, Sam, bad news. Thanks for delivering those rare metals, Sam. Everyone at the distro center really appreciates you coming through for us. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you though. That bike you saw outside, its battery's dead. You'll have to give it some juice if you want to use it. Only need to do it once though. Auto charger should kick in after. Sorry if we got your hopes up. And I've got some more bad news for you too. You see, different facilities have to work together, sharing materials so everyone gets what they need, to make sure that everything that's produced gets put to proper use. That's why guys like you are so important. Without porters, the whole system falls apart. Whole world even. Anyway, there's this guy, George Baton, over at the way station. He used to be a reliable porter, but lately it's like pulling teeth getting him to make even the simplest delivery. Keeps bitching about being scared or not having enough oxy or whatever. Always some excuse. Even when he does agree to make a run, he's liable to lose half his load en route. So yeah, that's why we're a bit short on materials at the moment. I'm sure you'll soon help us put that to rights. We're counting on you, Sam. Okay, George. More than Oxy. Sam the man, our saviour. Things are looking up here at the way station. Everything feels better somehow. We were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when we set ourselves up, but 3 years of isolation and loneliness will change anyone's tune. Hell, when we first got here we were putting up signs for porters and whatnot, but after a while some guys got too scared to even set foot outside. When Central went up, I told myself this was it. America's done. Everyone was feeling it too, and the mood was just bleak. And then you waltzed on in. I know what you're thinking at first. I thought it was just the oxytocins too, but that's not it. Not all of it anyhow. It gave us a glimmer of hope we needed by bringing us into the chiral network. We're back in the game now. Been thinking of putting up signs again, even. Watchtowers too. Before long we'll be opening up new delivery routes, mark my words. It's still scary out there though. All the oxy in the world won't help us deal with the MULEs, let alone BTs. We shit ourselves every time we catch sight of one and end up dropping half our equipment. Honestly, part of me is still a little worried that we won't be able to keep it up. That's why we need you, Sam. You're not scared of anything, right? So show us how it's done. Okay, so I've got a bunch of interview data. So let's read about Dooms first, because I'm interested in it. Dooms in the Zodiac. An astrologer 5 years ago in an office in Central Knot City. Astrologers like me are used to having our work dismissed, incorrectly of course, as unscientific mumbo-jumbo, but since the Death Stranding, more and more people have started to take an interest in what's known as astropsychology, a discipline that combines astrology with various forms of psychology. The fact that each person has a beach to which they are spiritually connected has doubtless contributed to this trend. Oh, sorry. These days, there are even psychotherapists who use astrological techniques in their counseling sessions. Perhaps the most interesting recent development of all, however, is the discovery that the alignment of celestial bodies at the moment of one's birth can influence one's relationship with the condition known as dooms. Of course, chiralium in the Earth's atmosphere means that it's difficult, dare I say impossible, to actually observe the constellations at any point. To come to the conclusion that they therefore have no effect upon human lives, however, would be a foolish error indeed. So, as someone with a background in psychology, this is a bit... this is fiction, so it doesn't matter. But psychology often becomes more interesting when you pair some of the practical aspects of psychology with more... what's the right word? Just more fantasy elements or more fictional elements that sound better. It's one of the reasons why Freud is very interesting to use, but is completely useless as a means of anything really. It has, because it sounds good and fanciful and strange, but in a practical or clinical setting, it's not very useful. Okay. Let's read about the BBs next. Bridge babies. A dead man a year ago at Bridge's headquarters. Look, I'm kind of new here at Bridges, so I don't know if any of this will be useful to you. Still, I'm happy to talk about BBs if that's what you want. They call me Deadman on account of my familiarity with the dead, get it? We've always been on good terms, you see. Used to have regular little chats back when I worked in the morgue. Anyway, that's also the reason I work on BB maintenance and research, to learn more about those who are no longer with us. But I digress. Fact is, BBs were already being issued to our forces in the field before I joined Bridges. What's more, research into the little guys had already been conducted long ago, but no one took the plunge and put what they discovered to practical use. Still, what that did mean is that when Bridges wanted to build our own bridge babies, most of the work has already been done for us. We just needed to follow the instructional manual, so to speak. Which isn't to say that we haven't any idea how they work, not how they can detect BTs or how they can connect this world to the other side. We still have much to learn about our little friends, but one thing is certain, their continued study will lead us to a greater understanding of the Stranding and of life and death itself. That much I can assure you. Well, I think that's about all I have to tell you today. Hopefully I'll have something new to share next time we chew the fat. See you around, I guess. Okay, so the kind of like mind meld kind of thing that the BB has with Sam, and we get that flash to, I don't know if we've learned Mads Mikkelsen's character, the name of his character, but he seemed to be a bit more emotionally connected to the BB than someone like Deadman is, who treats them more as like a tool than a child, right? Whereas Mads Mikkelsen's character seemed to be talking very affectionately to this particular BB. And there was a woman called Lisa. I don't know if she was a stillborn mother. Probably was. Interesting. So the BB's echolocation. Deadman a year ago at Bridges headquarters. Dolphins use a sensory mechanism known as echolocation to keep track of both their fellow pod members and any potential prey. As the name suggests, they produce sound which bounce off objects and return as echoes, allowing them to get an idea of their surroundings. Interesting in and of itself, of course, but what I find far more interesting is the recent research suggesting that BBs use a similar method to detect BTs. As you know, BB pods are designed to mimic the conditions inside a human womb and are key to preserving the BB's connections with this world and the next. Well, recent research suggests that BBs are capable of producing something not unlike a dolphin's sound waves. These pulses travel through the amniotic fluid and out the other side, bounce off BTs and return as echoes, allowing the BT to ascertain the location of the threats. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, echolocation. Yeah. Interesting. It is a little difficult. It would be a little difficult scientifically to explain how a human child would be able to perceive echolocation, because we don't have the sense organ for it. So, but interesting. The BBs can use it, but I'm not going. That's the last time I'm going to try and explain something, because it's a fictional world. What does it matter? Alright, so we've got a little explanation about Timefall from Hartman. 3 years ago at the Bridges headquarters lab. Timefall was first recorded when the Death Stranding occurred, and despite all the years that have passed since then, we are no closer to understanding how or why it accelerates the passage of time for the objects and organisms it touches, or why it immediately turns to ordinary water having done so. Some researchers have gone as far to posit this process as stealing time. As for why timefall is observed only in certain places, all that we know for certain is that it is somehow affected by local chiral concentrations. This is merely a hunch, but something in me suspects that the Death Stranding may have warped our perception of the passage of time. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, you understand. We humans can conceive our own deaths, and even the possibility of a place beyond death, yes? We have the capacity to conceptualize the future, an evolutionary advantage which aided our development as a species. Well, What if Timefall has given us a new, supercharged version of this essential ability? I mean, our ability to perceive what we might expect to happen in the future comes through... It's all of that kind of stuff is a branch of empathic understanding, isn't it? Empathy is just about being able to see from perspective. Not emotional empathy, just basic empathy. So that's where it all comes from, and that's, yeah. One that will take us to the net. Yeah, perhaps we wouldn't need to hole ourselves up in the not cities. Perhaps in time the Death Stranding will come to be be seen as the phenomenon that saved our species. Exciting thoughts, I'm sure you'll agree. I, for one, can't wait to set out on our journey. Who knows what awaits? Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm very interested in reading about the seam and just anything on the other side. Egyptian mummies, pyramids, etc. 3 years ago by Hartman. At what point can it be said that man truly understood what it meant to die? It would seem reasonable to suggest that it was when he began to bury his dead, a practice which originated in the Neanderthals. In a way, one might say that our growing understanding of death drove our development as a species, our fear of it, our attempts to conquer it. Why, it could be argued, our entire history revolves around these obsessions. Take the great pyramids of Egypt or the tombs of the ancient emperors of China. The more powerful the person, the bigger and grander their final resting place. Or, to posit a more radical theory, could the very concepts of power and society themselves have emerged solely to facilitate the creation of such monuments, such challenges to the finality of death? Either way, in leaving behind something they hoped might endure through the ages, the builders of these edifices believed that they too might live on forever. The mummies of the Egyptians are another means by which man sought to fulfill this desire to escape the finality of death. They were created that the spiritual self, the Ka, would have a physical vessel, or Ha, to which it could return. The Soko Shinbutsu, or mummified monks of Buddhism, are similar in this respect. However, the monks in question aimed to transition straight from life to Buddhahood, in other words, to forego death altogether. But now that the beach has brought us into direct contact with the world beyond, our relationship with the dead must further evolve. With death must further evolve. The next stage in our understanding is upon us. Interesting. So, I mean, a lot of the things like he's talking about, it comes up a lot in religion about the afterlife and stuff like that. It's kind of like there's certain ways people deal with death, right? You know, whether it's and denial is one of them, and the sort of the societal creation of the afterlife is you could very easily consider a grand extension of the denial, that it makes people less fearful of death and allows them to live a better life with the knowledge that this isn't the end, I suppose. But on the other hand, it can make people reckless because they believe that this isn't it. Okay, so the seam, I'm very interested in reading about the seam. So this is Hartman again 3 years ago. Life began in the oceans, and as it evolved, it graduated to the land. At least, this is what was believed until recently. To creatures of the sea, the land is a harsh and unforgiving place. Given this, what could possibly have compelled these organisms to make such a drastic transition? Consider that fossils of the first fish to adapt themselves to land have been found in regions with unusually large tidal range. Could it be that these creatures developed legs in order to move more swift? I've read that wrong. Sorry, I'm being silly now. Could it be that these creatures developed legs in order to more swiftly return to the safety of the sea when stranded? Could their evolutionary leap have been triggered by this traumatic experience? If so, could similar circumstances have shaped the evolution of the coral-like organisms that inhabit the seam and driven them to develop an ability to live between life and death, between time and timelessness? Coral is, after all, older than any organism of the land, and hardly enough to have weathered the mass extinction of 540 million years ago. And it's a life form upon which many other organisms rely for survival. Bearing all this in mind, one could argue that the ability to survive in the seam is indicative of a profound evolutionary leap. I mean, it's difficult to use the word leap alongside evolution, because evolution is an extremely slow process, right? So for things don't tend to change, like really quickly. That was a terrible click, right? They don't tend to change quickly, do they? But yeah, coral. How sentient would you consider the coral to be, though? Okay. Cryptobiotes. Oh, I've been calling them cryptobites. Cryptobiotes by Fragile 2 years ago. We call these bugs cryptobiotes. They were recorded in reference books and databases back before the Death Stranding, but nobody ever thought to give them a proper classification, so cryptobiotes they stayed. They're named for the process of cryptobiotes, which means hidden life. When environmental conditions get too harsh or resources too scarce, cryptobiotes can shut down their metabolic processes and enter an almost death-like state in order to survive. Tardigrades and sleeping chronomids are capable of this too, but cryptobiotes are on a whole other level. They can survive anything and anywhere, even on the beach or in the seam, and they aren't capable of prolonging only their own lives. Humans who eat them acquire a limited resistance to timefall too. You won't find them lying around just anywhere though. You need to know where to look. Not many people even knew they existed until recently. So next to no research has been done, but now that their beneficial properties have been recognised, I'm willing to bet they'll play an important role in helping us understand the beach, the Death Stranding, and everything else. Okay, the last thing we'll read. There's a lot of reading here, but we need to flesh all this stuff out. Mules and Drone Syndrome by Die Hardman 2 years ago. Bridges' primary objective is to rebuild America. And my dog's making noise. And in order to rebuild, one of our main tasks is to reconnect cities and other settlements by re-establishing a delivery network. Back before the Death Stranding, that's my controller, the comms and delivery network were what held society together. The whole thing was automated, AI managed, deliveries carried out by drone. The belief was that taking people out of the equation would revolutionize the entire system, but things didn't quite pan out that way. Instead, we started seeing cases of what would eventually be dubbed drone syndrome. It was too much for some folks to accept, leaving everything to machines and nothing for the common man. And indeed, the oxytocin deficiency and hormonal imbalances we confirmed seemed to back up that assessment. Humanity needed to be part of the process, so laws were put in place and we stepped back into the picture again. And then what happened? All the people put out of work by machines who got called up again convinced themselves society couldn't survive without them, and that brought on a whole new disorder. Delivery dependent syndrome, they called it. When the Death Stranding tore us apart, the delivery problem spiraled even further. It wasn't helped any by the fact that chiral clouds prevented planes and drones from flying, which meant we had to go back to relying completely on human couriers, whether we liked it or not. Eventually, delivering goods became all some lived for. They were obsessed, addicted, consumed by the desire to deliver. Over time, they turned into the mules we know and love today. Know and love? Oh, that's probably sarcastic. Okay, so they've got like a a syndrome. Okay, this drone syndrome. So they're kind of addicted to finding packages and delivering stuff because it gives them like a purpose. Okay. I don't need to look at tips. Okay, so that's fleshed a few things out at least. I did pick up a new hat.
Sam, we've received a distress call from the distro center staff. Check the order on the delivery terminal as soon as you're ready.
What are you looking at? Right, what's up with BB? Okay, he seems like he's all better and repaired. Can we put the hat on? Thank you very much. Do I need to pick up that thing? Don't think so. Alright, let's go, let's go, let's go. Another flashback.
Isn't what we agreed on. You said you'd do everything in your power to save BB.
We are. But we cannot release your son just yet. Believe me when I tell you it's for the best.
This woman in the mask who's done nothing but lie to me.
A woman in a mask.
Sam, there's something I forgot to tell you. It's about managing your BB stress levels and reducing the risk of autotoxemic attacks. There are a few things you can do if your BB starts showing signs of distress.
Such as?
Such as take a moment to look after it. Cradle the pot, gently rock it, that sort of thing. Out of curiosity, how's it doing at the moment?
Before I answer that,
Something wrong?
when I hook up my BB, I see things.
What kind of things?
Like a face, someone I don't know, calling to me. There's this room, too, with other people talking, but I can't make out the words.
Lead-through effect. Didn't I warn you about this? You're mistaking the BB's memories for your own. They're false flashbacks, nothing more. Let me explain. A BB is harvested from its steel mother at around 28 weeks and placed in a pod. To be clear, this is before it's even born. The procedure halts its development. But even at 28 weeks, its sensory systems have matured enough to process external stimuli. It is more than capable of encoding this information into memories, which can bleed into yours via your connection.
So who's the man I saw?
Someone from the medical team, maybe? Or a BB technician? Does it matter?
No.
The BB has been in circulation for a while now. It's been handled by a lot of people. How should I know which one made an impression?
'Cause you're the expert.
No one's an expert, Sam. BBs were developed decades ago in secret. They're your quintessential black boxes. We may use them, but we don't truly understand them. Believe me, I've been trying to learn more, but almost all of the old records are gone. If I find anything out, I'll tell you, all right? Dead man's honor.
We'll finish this episode here in a second. We'll just pick up whatever we're supposed to be doing next.
While you're resting, I ran some network diagnostics. Beryllium monitoring and holographic systems are nominal. Unfortunately, our printer is offline. I know. After all the trouble you went through to bring us those materials. This one's on us. We ordered a part a while back, but it never arrived. The printer needs it to communicate with the chiral network. Mules must have snatched it, caught that porter en route or something. If I'm right, they'll have taken it to their drop site, which is smack dab in the middle of their territory. Don't suppose you'd be up for stealing us our property back? Can't think of anyone more qualified than you.
Great. So we've got a side one as well. Let's listen to the briefing.
Heads up, Sam. Distro Center staff's got a favor to ask. Probably best I start from the beginning.
This one's on us. We ordered a part a while back, but it never arrived. The printer needs it to communicate with the chiral network. Mules must have snatched it, caught that porter en route or something.
It's just the same
If I'm
information.
right, they'll have taken it to their drop site, which is smack dab in the middle of their territory. Don't suppose you'd be up for stealing us our property back? Can't think of anyone more qualified than you.
Collecting chiral crystals.
Sam, the area around that distro center has produced a significant quantity of chiral crystals. Matter of fact, that's where the chiralium used in your Cupid's internal circuitry came from. They have a range of applications, including equipment fabrication. Bottom line, they're a valuable resource and one you'll want to make the most of. I'll let Hartman explain in more detail, but chiral crystals don't exactly grow on trees. If you see any deposits, you should go out of your way to gather them, especially since folks with dooms are the only ones that can, provided they have the necessary equipment, that is. I'll see that it's added to your supplies for this order.
Sam, it's Hartman. Following the discovery of the beach, we not only began to observe heretofore unseen phenomena, but a new type of matter, chiralium. I say new, but it has doubtlessly existed since the dawn of the universe. We believe it was always there, like dark matter and certain particles, ever present, yet overlooked because we lacked the capacity to see it. Chiralium appears to be unbound by the constraints of physics as we understand them. It can stop time or move contrary to it. On occasion, it even defies gravity. In practical terms, it can stop or even reverse time and causes objects to float. A special cylindrical case is required to collect and store it. Suffice it to say, the procurement of samples is vital to our ongoing research.
Okay. Let's accept both those orders.
Mama's added a watchtower schematic to your PCC. If you don't have it on you, consider fabricating one. You never know when you'll need to recon an area. That thing you're holding is a crystal collector. Now, as the name suggests, it provides secure storage for any crystals you gather.
Allow me to describe your quarry. Chiral crystals appear gold to the naked eye and are frequently found in formations resembling human handprints. Surrounding rocks and debris tend to float a few feet above the ground. And they are most commonly found in areas with high precipitation. Got all that? Rain, floating rocks, golden handprints. That's your trifecta. Look for these three things and you'll find the crystals. If you've been especially observant, then perhaps you already know where to look.
Order assigned.
Okay, so it's a lot of information again, but we're getting things fleshed out now. Yes, we've got a better idea about dooms. I mean, they're relying a little bit on ambiguity here. You know, things that are unexplained and they don't have an explanation for stuff, but it's all very interesting. So we'll go and sneak into this mule camp next time. I might go and do some deliveries and stuff like that in the meantime. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Just remember, everyone, never trust and on crate. Right, I'll see you next time.